down your baby and pick up a beer. Dad Jokes is back with a brand new episode. I'm Jerry, joined here by Brandon, and you're listening to the podcast of two dads going through the journey of fatherhood while you all sit back and listen to us do it. And Brandon, we've been doing this thing for about 4 years now, and this has been our longest hiatus in between episodes. We got a lot to unpack in this episode, a lot of things to tell everyone who's been a listener from the very beginning, or if you picked us up somewhere along the line and wondering where we went. We're going to try to answer as many questions as we can and fill you guys in.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I actually didn't know if we were going to record another episode, but life is dictated that that's a must, Jerry.
That is true. So the biggest news, I guess I'll say, is we got a lot going on. But the last time you guys heard us, you knew that we were expecting our third child, and the birth of our third child has happened. And before I get into all of that, although I kind of want to have you, Brandon, maybe give us an update on what has been going on with me and you. Why have we been gone? And you guys might understand after we kind of go through that, like exactly how crazy our lives have been. And then I'll probably do a lot of talking about exactly how the third birth of our child went. So Brandon, kind of give the people an update of what's going on with both the Banks and the Lusky household.
I'm gonna do that, but first, the show has a name for a reason, and we got to start off with a dad joke, and I think I'm gonna go because my ability to find a good dad joke, I think, has gotten rusty in the time that it took to in between episodes. But let's I don't want to keep everybody in suspense. So Jerry, okay. I heard that icy is the easiest word to spell. Looking at it now, I see why.
I've told that joke on this before. So not only is that a rusty joke, I know I've told that joke before. That's funny. It's funny
okay,
because...
Then I have another one.
Okay.
One then.
Okay.
I asked my dad why he decided to buy a boat. He said there was a sale.
Okay.
Have you used that one?
I have not told. No.
Okay.
Brandon, I have two. One is not really a joke. I just think it's hilarious. I don't think you're going to get it. So I'm going to say that one and save my actual joke for the end if you're ready, okay?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm going to get it.
So my wife was mad at me the other day at the dinner table. She asked me to please stop singing Oasis. So I said, maybe. You don't get it, do you?
You know, you told me before we started recording I wasn't going to get this, and I told you I would. No idea what that means.
Wonderwall by Oasis is that's how the song starts.
I'm assuming maybe is a line in the song.
Gonna be the one to save me.
Oh, I do know that song.
Yeah.
You just are off key.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't sing Oasis.
Okay, you know where I know that song from? Rock Band, I'm pretty sure. I think it was a song on Rock Band.
It's a very popular song. I just thought it was funny. I was reading dad jokes and I was like, that's pretty good. Because I would do that.
Yeah. It was
either, all right, Brandon, what's the update?
Or, I don't know. You got me thinking about Rock Band. So, not to bury the lead, but Jerry and I, as long listeners of this podcast may know, have worked in the auto industry, specifically at a dealership for a very long time. I have been doing it for 10 years with the same organization, the Graph Automotive Group. Jerry has been doing it even longer than I have. I think you were, what were you, 12 years in, 13 years in?
13 years in.
And as a part of that, one thing that we didn't necessarily share with the Dad Jokes crew is that throughout the last few years, there have been periods of time where Jerry has been involved in the potential purchases of dealerships. For one reason or another, those specific deals did not happen, but that led to a point where he and I both have partnered and purchased a group of 5 dealerships in, I don't know how specific we should get, but in Northwest Indiana. So that is the process there, and this is some of what we can kind of talk about in the life update, Jerry. The process when you're going through that and purchasing a store while you're still gainfully employed by by another, and we were blessed enough to the person who owned the store that we both came from is who we partnered with, and it was an incredible opportunity for both of us. But you don't get a lot of time. It's a lot of time from a preparation standpoint, but there is a lot of unknown when you're dealing with one manufacturer, and in our case, we were dealing with 4. And so what that basically means is you can do a whole lot of work, which we've done before. You get really close to the finish line, and then you don't know if you have a deal or not until essentially a couple weeks before it actually goes down. And that's exactly what happened. We had to, I don't want to say scramble, but we had to move very quickly, which obviously impacted our ability to record with the podcast. And then once things actually took place, that meant that Jerry and I had to move away from our families for about a month. And we moved and we got settled and started running these dealerships that we purchased, and that actually is something that we'll talk about in our update. But for the last few months, we have opened and been running 5 different dealerships. I'm skimming through a lot of that because we got a lot more update to do.
The big thing there is, if you guys don't know, we live we're from Michigan, and so these stores being in Indiana, that's a different state. You're talking 3.5 hours away. If all things are good traffic wise, that's best case scenario, and an hour time difference as well. So we were actually having to go down to Indiana and do a lot of work before the sale went through, which was very taxing on both Brandon and myself, and also our families. Didn't leave a lot of time. And then once the deal did go through, Brandon and I, obviously we don't have houses down in Indiana, and we had to be working 15, 16-hour days. We stayed in some fun hotels and some interesting Airbnbs, and it was a few months before we could really find, and then in our spare time, because we had so much of it, had to find houses, talk to our families. I also had a very, very pregnant wife. So we were doing a lot of different things, did not leave a lot of time for any activities, let alone recording, but that's kind of been going on. And then, Brandon, I'll let you continue, but obviously now we're just finally at the point where we're moved down here. We both bought houses down in Indiana, so our families can be down here with us. They're moved down here, and we're kind of starting to feel settled in, but to both the job and to our families living in a new place. But this has been, 5 months, probably 4 or 5 months of really being in the heat of things, and probably just in the last couple of weeks, things have kind of started to settle down, and that's a minimum, especially in my household.
Yeah, in the last couple of weeks, you've added another member of your family, so it's the settling down at work. It's probably never truly going to be settled, but we do feel like it's settling down a little bit, and we're getting to a point where we can plan on having conversations like this. But a lot has happened in the time that we have not been recording. In the Banks household, I'll start there. It is taxing on the family, as Jerry mentioned, to have, essentially Jerry and I we came down to Indiana, and for a period of time before we moved down here, we were coming down a couple days a week just to get things set up before we actually finalized the purchase. Once we really knew that things were going down, actually even before that. So that definitely puts a strain. It's tough on not just the families, but from the dad perspective, which is what we're here to talk about. It is definitely tough to know that you're going to be spending time away from your wife and your kids, and that's something that we didn't take lightly. We tried to mitigate that as much as possible, which sometimes meant we'd be waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, driving down to Indiana, spending a full day in Indiana, and then driving and getting back home at midnight the same day. But you do what you got to do for your family. For us, since the last time we talked, Bryce has turned 4. I'd be here all day updating you guys on Bryce. He seems more like a teenager right now to me than the baby that we took home 4 years ago. But it's a couple quick hits. It's incredible to see the big brother that he is. He loves his little brother. He's always watching out for him, and making sure that he's okay. They play great together, and it's fun. KJ is 19 months now, and he's talking nonstop. Like, his vocabulary is, he honestly, in pretty much every phase, he's about 4 or 5 months ahead of where Bryce was. He's size wise, he is speech wise. I mean, he's saying full sentences and has been doing that for a month, and can clearly like speak, respond, let you know exactly what's going on. Which is it took Bryce until he was almost 2 to be able to. Bryce could always talk and say words. KJ is communicating fully. Like there's, I mean, you got to question sometimes what he says, but he's stringing together full sentences, which is really cool. One cool thing with Bryce, and you probably are going to get into this, but part of the scramble as we were finding a place to live down here, and shout out to my wife, I kind of just turned it over to her and said, come down here and figure it out. So she snuck down here. We actually put an offer in on a house that I never toured. I never saw it. I didn't. Yeah, but Jerry, that's funny. It was very interesting. Him and I were looking at houses, and we had similar criteria that we wanted. So, interestingly enough, my wife and I toured the house he ended up buying, and he toured the house that I'm sitting in right now. Our new house was the first house Jerry toured when he came down here. So it's actually pretty funny. You knew more about my house than I did, because my wife saw it.
It's a good house.
She knew she wanted it. Thank you. I appreciate that. And he, I mean, I didn't see the upstairs of this house until we were moving in. I'd never been up here.
I won't lie, Brandon. If it wasn't the first house we looked at, there's a good chance we would have bought that house. So it all works out in the end. But it's kind of funny, because I bet you if that was the second or third house we looked at, things would have been very different.
Yeah, and I still look at Redfin and Zillow, and I haven't seen one yet that I would have wanted over this one. So I think everything worked out for both of us. Kelsey would have been like, the minute I think she had this on her radar, but this wasn't in the price range that I gave her. And so she was like a little salty that you went and toured it, and then she kind of snuck this one in the last without me. Like the last night that she was down here, and I was like, we can stretch a little bit and get the house that you want. You're gonna be stuck there for a little bit. But all in all, I mean, there's a ton we can update on. Both of the kids are great. We don't have another kid coming anytime soon. Jerry will get into their story, but it's been both one of the most trying times for our family, just with the separation, but also one of the most rewarding as we kind of are getting into the groove of our new life here in Indiana. And Kelsey is a stay-at-home mom now. Through the move, she had to quit her job, and is able to stay at home with the kids. And we're blessed enough to have that happen. I think, and you probably are seeing some of this, between my parents and her parents, we have had someone in our house pretty much every weekend and spending the night, which has been great, because I think it's allowed us to have more time with each other, to go on dates and things like that than we did even when we were in Michigan. Because my childcare during the week was my parents, and I wasn't gonna ask them to watch the kids
double duty
on the weekends for us to do something. So that's been a blessing as well. Like I said, there's a ton that we can go over, but in my opinion, this isn't the Banks family episode. This is the Oleski family episode. So, Jerry, tell us what's been going on.
Yeah, I mean, quick hits, like you said. I mean, Peyton's almost 4 now, and she is, it's crazy. My mother-in-law staying with us right now with the baby and stuff, and she's like, man, she's kind of bossy, and she's kind of defiant, I think is the word she used. I'm like, yeah, she is. She's definitely bossy, definitely got a big attitude, but she's also really, really smart. She started preschool. She's in Bryce's class, and she did really well with that. I'm proud of her there. She seems to have no fear, and like I said, she's really smart. She's clever. She's almost too smart. she finds like things to say or things to do, and I'm like, I don't know where you're getting that from, but I don't know that I like that you're doing this at the age of 3. But she's doing good. She's definitely, like I said, going. She has some highs and some lows, but is doing really well. Avery is obviously a little over 2, and she is. I mean, I love the age she's at. She's a little bit of a daddy's girl, but she is a crazy little animal. It's funny how different their personalities can be, because her and Peyton have definitely different personalities, and Avery just goes to the beat of her own drum, and she is goofy and weird and does not care, and you're not gonna tell her what to do or not to do, and she's just lots of fun right now. She also can be a little bit of a spitfire and be a little bit of a train wreck at times, like 2-year-olds can, but she's at an age that's just really, really fun. I forgot how much fun this age can be, so I've been definitely loving some time with her. But yeah, I mean, Brandon, kind of to go into things, the last time we left you guys, Macy was probably halfway through her pregnancy, and then obviously when everything started going down with these stores, it was tough because not only was I away, Macy was still working, but she was working with 2 kids and being pregnant, and Macy tends to have pregnancies that are kind of tough on her. She gets very nauseous, very sick. Her body hurts, nothing like crazy as far as like, how some pregnancies can be, but she definitely does not enjoy pregnancy. Like some women say that they love being pregnant. That is not my wife. And so, it was tough on her. She did a great job. But, we're going through all this, and that's what really was tough on us when we were looking for a home, Brandon, because it was like, if we don't find one soon, are we having the baby in Michigan? Are we having the baby down here? Am I going to be away from how's this going to work? So we kind of had to rush that. We got the house.
It's crazy. You were very, from the beginning, very, like, I got to get this house. I got to get this house. And I was like, it's fine. It's not going to take that long. It'll be a little bit. I was more laissez-faire, and then we ended up putting an offer in before you guys did. Because it hit me really quick. I was like, I got to get my family down here.
Yeah, you kind of moved all of a sudden, and I, was in the works, and then just kind of like hit a lull. But we ended up finding one, moved in. Well, basically, once we found one, we had to do a little bit of work to the house, and then we got the family down here like a month exactly before our due date. I think it was almost a month to the day before our due date. So it was like, okay, this is good. We're down here now, but that was really tough on Macy too, because she also was packing up the whole house while I wasn't there and moving boxes. And then we were down here and she was getting things together. So just a lot that she had to do while pregnant, which is not easy. So then we get down here and then she has to meet a new OB, right? Which is kind of scary too, but that went fairly well. But I'm working. She's down here in a new state with the girls, and it's like, okay, when is this baby going to come, right? Peyton was late. Avery was early. Pregnancies were very different at the end. Like, the birthing experience was very different with Avery than Peyton. Like, what are we going to expect? So we're down here, and it starts getting closer and closer to the due date, and Macy's starting to get more and more over being pregnant. She goes to one of her OB appointments. I think this was like maybe 2 weeks before her due date. And I think, the doctor asked her, do you want to be induced at any point? And Macy's like, no, because she was with Avery, and it did not go well. So she was kind of, scared of that. She's like, no. So then a little bit of my time goes by, and it's probably a week and a half before her due date. I'm at work, and I think I'm with you, Brandon, and we're in the middle of a meeting. Yeah, we were in the same room. I think it was a Tuesday. Meeting. Yeah, we're like in a meeting, we're doing stuff. I'm not, and I'm getting text messages, which I should have been paying attention because my wife's very pregnant, but I'm not paying attention. Next thing I know, I look at my phone and, and Macy's like, hey, I think my water might have broke. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Did it break? Did it not break? And, and she's like, well, I think maybe, I don't know. I don't know if we should go in or not. And I'm like, well, if it broke, we should probably go in. But, like, should you call your OB? Are you sure? Like, and this sounds bad, Brandon, but
this was in the morning. Like, I remember, yeah.
Yeah, because, in my head, her water broke with Peyton, and it was, like, very obvious. So I'm thinking, like, well, was it like that or was it not? Like, I don't know. I'm not there. But I guess, and this is shame on me, but I guess it can be very different. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, your water breaks, and it's just like, bam, like, it's very obvious. It can be, like, kind of like a slow trickle or whatever. I didn't know any of this, so I'm confused. But she
What are you
explained it to
expecting,
me
like
later.
a flash flood or something?
Well, I mean, like, they say it's like pretty obvious when your water breaks, but I guess like it isn't always. Like if it breaks, it is, but it can be, like I said, kind of like a trickle or whatever. So, anyways, that's what she thought was happening. We go. So I leave work. I pick her up. We drop the kids off actually at your house, Brandon, so that Kelsey can watch the girls. And, you know, we get to the hospital. This is probably good because I had not been to the hospital yet, the new hospital. We get there. They check us in. It actually goes pretty quick. We're in this nice room. They're all convinced, like, we're having this baby. They're like, no, I'm pretty sure, you know, your water broke. You're 99% sure you're having this kid. They come in and they check her, you know, to make sure that's, you know, and whatever the fluid is, you know, to make sure it's the, you know,
amniotic fluid.
Right? Thank you. And so, anyways, long story short, they come back and they're like, no, it's not. Y'all can go home. So we go home. And the funny part, Brandon, is this happened to us with all three kids. Macy thought her water broke with Peyton, which I had forgot about when we got sent home. Avery, she thought she was having contractions. They're like, no, you're good. They sent us home. So apparently that's our thing. We just go in once and get sent home before the real deal. We do like a little bit of a warm up. It is, but it's just funny that it happened with all three kids. So anyways, she goes home and then, you know, she's having a doctor's appointment again soon, and she's over being pregnant now. She's like, I want to have this kid. And I'm like, well, she's probably going to ask you again if you want to do an induction. What do you want to say? She's like, yeah, I think I'm going to say yes. I was like, okay. And her appointments are on Wednesdays, which was a week and a half before her due date. And I'm like, well, let's see if she can get, you know, you induced on Saturday. It'd be great. I can finish the week at work. We'll have the baby over the weekend. I'm trying to plan this out, like, you know, yeah, we'll have the baby over the weekend.
You're trying to plan this out like Jerry does.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, and she's like, okay. I'm like, maybe Monday, the worst case scenario. We'll make this work. Okay, cool. So I'm at work the next day on the Wednesday. She's having her appointment. Again, I think I'm with you. We're in meetings. My phone's going off. I'm not paying attention. Next thing I know, like an hour later, I look at my phone and it's like, hey, they want me to schedule induction. The only day they can do it is Thursday at 7 a.m. And I'm like, Thursday? It's Wednesday. That's tomorrow. So I call her really quick. She's like, yeah, they want to do it tomorrow because the OB, that's when she's on, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, do you want to do it? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So now I'm flustered because it's...
I mean, you literally looked at me and said, I think I'm having a baby tomorrow.
Yeah, because I'm like, I had plans on Thursday and Friday at work. I had all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, plans out the window. So we get home, we pack, make sure the bags are good to go, make sure the car's good to go. My mother-in-law's over, so she's going to watch the girls. And we're like, we're going to have a baby tomorrow. So we get up early, go to the hospital by 7 a.m., They get us into a nice room at the hospital. It's a nice room. We get a doctor, not a doctor, excuse me. We get a nurse, and the nurse was fantastic, Brian. I'll tell you that from the beginning. Our main nurse, she was really, really nice, was relatable. She was like kind of around probably mine and Macy's age, which I think helps. She had a kid, because it's like she could relate. Yeah. She had gone through it recently. She had a kid about Peyton. Actually, it was Peyton's birthday a year before. So it was exactly 1 year younger than Peyton. And
quick question.
Yeah.
We've had the same hospital both times we've had our previous two kids, and the rooms left a lot to be desired. You said this was a nice room. How did it compare? Well,
I'm going to go into some of this. So the room that Macy kind of was, I was like giving birth in, the birthing room, was, I think, probably nicer than the hospital we're used to. It was nice size. It was the man chair, I'll call it, that folds out or whatever, was just as trash. But everything else was pretty nice. I will tell you, the TV they had in there was probably smaller than my iPad, which, no big deal, but it just kind of was funny. But anyways, we get into the room. They start her on Pitocin. And so this nurse is in every 15 minutes because she ups it. And so she's in a lot. She's very, very, engaged. And she's super nice. She's making Macy feel good. And Macy, for the most part, at this point, she's being induced, but she feels fine. I mean, she feels, pregnant and, aches and pains, but nothing bad. She's laying in bed. I'm sitting in this chair that's not comfortable. And we're watching movies on this little TV. And I think we watched Rudy and we watched 13 Going on 30. and time just goes by. I don't know if any of you guys at home, either if you're having an induction later on with your wife or if you had one in the past, but it's kind of funny. I think people think like you go in and get induced and it's like, boom, you're having a baby like right away. They're starting to push like within the hour. That's not how it works. In fact, I looked it up because while we were there, the average induction is 12 to 24 hours it takes. And then it's very, very common for it to be multiple days. So, it's not quick necessarily. So we're there. And again, we got in at 7 a.m. and we're sitting there, we're watching movies. All of a sudden, it's like early afternoon. One thing I will say, Brandon, about this hospital that I loved is the lady the first day, she's like, hey, here's the menu for food. She's like, you both get meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. She's like, and order them because whether you do or don't, you're going to get charged for it. She's like, so just know that. But the hospital that we are used to, Brandon, that you had to, as the man, had to go to the cafeteria if you wanted food.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or have snacks, which when your wife's about to give birth, you're not leaving to go to no cafeteria. No. So it was kind of obnoxious. But this was great because we got breakfast. We ordered lunch. We're both eating. The food was fine. I mean, it was good. And then, so they're checking on Macy, and Macy's doing good. She's not feeling any pain. And then all of a sudden, she started to get a little bit more dilated. They started saying she was having regular contractions. And we're like, okay. So then the OB comes in, and she's like, yep, I'm going to break your water. I think we're progressing nicely. It's like, okay, cool. So they break her water, and then they start using like a peanut ball. And, Macy's still feeling pretty good. Everything's checking out pretty well. Again, we're just kind of chilling there. Next thing you know, Macy kind of looks at me. She goes, I think I might have to start pushing, but not really. Like, I don't really know. And I'm like, okay. She's like, well, should I tell the doctor? I'm like, I don't know. Then the nurse comes in, and the nurse checks her. She's like, oh, no, you're about to have this baby. She's like, and I'm not kid you not. She literally goes, don't push. Keep your legs crossed. The doctors in surgery. She's like, the doctors in surgery, do not push this baby. Stay where you are. Basically, the OB is delivering another baby in surgery. Don't have this baby right now. So Macy's like sitting there like, okay. And she's not like in that mode where it's like, I gotta push. She's just kind of like, okay. So we're sitting there waiting, and like, things are progressing. All of a sudden, the doctor comes in, and this is a female doctor, and she's very I liked her a lot, but she's very blunt, and she's to the point. She's kind of funny, and she's just like, yep, the baby's right there. She's like, this is going to be a couple pushes, and you're going to be done. And she wasn't kidding. So basically, she gets Macy ready. They're in there, and Macy had, I think, 2 full pushes, and all of a sudden, the baby starts to come. And I'll kind of back up a little bit, Brandon, because they were talking about how we didn't know the sex of the baby. It was a surprise. So that's what we did with Peyton. We wanted to do it again. We were telling them. They were super excited about it, the doctors and the nurses. And the doctor was saying how she messed one up before because they were like, her hand was like under the butt and like covering where you would know if it was a boy or a girl. She's like, so I'm not going to do that. And then with Peyton, when we found out, when they pulled the baby out and they showed me her butt. So I didn't know right away. So I was telling them this story. So she's like, okay. So anyways, the baby's born. And honestly, the pregnancy to this point has gone the labor has gone really smooth. Macy hasn't been in a lot of pain. She got an epidural. It went really well. Couple pushes. The baby got kind of stuck, but not like bad. Everything's going great. They pull the baby out, Brandon. They show me, and instantly, like, I'm not going to lie, it's one of those moments you'll never forget because very clearly in front of me, it's a boy. It's a baby boy, and like you can tell in all his glory, it is a baby boy. And I thought for sure it was going to be a girl. I think Macy thought it was going to be a girl. So I'm genuinely surprised. You have all those emotions to begin with, like, seeing the birth and doing all that. And then now it's a boy, which just totally surprised me, which makes it worth it. And the baby's there, and it's a big boy. You can tell right away. Big boy, lots of hair. Mom starts doing some skin to skin. And right now, Macy's doing good. Skin to skin. Everyone's happy. We're in our little cocoon of awesomeness. And if anyone's wife has had a vaginal birth, they don't give birth and they're done. The doctors are down there doing a bunch of stuff, right? They're doing their stuff, but you're enjoying the time with the baby. And so they're doing their stuff. I'm not thinking anything of it. Macy's kind of shaking, but I think that's pretty normal after a birth. And then, we're doing good. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, something seems off. She just seemed off to me. And then Macy's like, hey, can you hold them really quick? I feel sick. And I knew right away, like, something's wrong because, like, she wasn't going to want to give that baby up unless something was going on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah. I grabbed the baby. And then all of a sudden the doctor is like, oh, do you need to get sick? They grab, like, a bag. And then Macy's like, I don't feel right. And this is kind of when chaos starts to happen, Brandon. I'm trying to paint the picture. Like, the doctors are working on her. She feels like she's going to be sick. I'm holding my newborn child. And then all of a sudden, like, multiple people come into the room. And they're like, hey, we need to weigh the baby and give the baby shots and do all this stuff. And they start asking me questions. And I'm like, oh, time out. Like, is my wife okay? Like, is my kid, like, what's going on? I'm trying to, like, so at first I'm like, okay, because the doctors are talking to Macy, like, yeah, like, let's weigh the baby. And which one? Find out the baby's 9 pounds, 7 ounces. Big boy. So 9 pounds, 7 ounces. Boy. He's a big boy. Not our biggest, though. Avery was 9'12". Peyton was 7'9". But I'm weighing the baby, and they're doing, like, the records, they're doing the footprints, and I'm like near Macy because they're at the little like incubator thing where it's got like the heat lamp and the scale, which is right next to the bed kind of. And Macy starts, like, she's shivering and she's like, I'm freezing. I'm so cold. Why am I so cold? And before this, Brandon, when she was just being induced, they took some blood from her because she had hemorrhaged with the first pregnancy. So, like, we're going to have some blood just in case, right? So the doctors aren't telling us what's going on at this point because I don't think they want to freak us out. But they're, like, clearly working on stuff. Macy clearly isn't doing okay. All of a sudden, they're, like, putting blankets on her. They get this machine out that, like, pumps heat underneath the blankets on her. They're, like, have her head wrapped up like she's a mummy. And they're like, and she's not doing good. She's like upset.
You've had two other births, and you've never seen anything like this.
Correct.
Before.
I'm not seeing this. The doctors are doing stuff. I'm like, what's going on? But meanwhile, I'm trying to take care of the baby, and I got people asking me questions about, like, birth certificates, about, like, like vaccines and hepatitis, and I'm like, yeah. But I'm like, also, like, what's happening with my wife? And then finally, the doctor's basically like, hey, she had a hemorrhage. It's pretty severe. It sounds like the average. To be a hemorrhage, it has to be like over 500 cc's, I think is what it is. And they said she was over 1,500. So 3 times like the normal amount. Like, that's not good. So clearly this is all happening because she's losing lots of blood. And she's just, and this is like 20 minutes plus at this point in time. It's not like a quick thing. Like, this is not getting better. The doctors don't seem overly concerned, but I'm concerned. So finally I'm like, well, should I feed my, plus now the baby's been born for probably an hour at this point in time. I'm like, should he eat? Because normally Macy would have fed him at this point in time, but she's in no condition to do that. And the doctor's like, well, just ask her what she wants to do when she's ready to talk. I'm like, that ain't going to be anytime soon. Like, she can't talk right now. She's not okay. So I'm kind of like trying to keep him. The one regret I have, Brandon, is I'm holding the baby and I'm trying to take care of him. But because, Macy was doing the skin to skin and normally the mom breastfeeds and all that, I had my shirt on during all this, and I don't know, like, I don't think anything's wrong, but I wish I would have just had my shirt off so he could have got more skin to skin time. But, like, what was I going to do? Put the baby on the chair and like take my shirt
you
off?
didn't know what was going on.
So I didn't know what was going on. But anyways, the other crazy part is he was born at 5:15 p.m. Okay, which so we were in at 7 a.m. It's 5:15 p.m. The baby's born. Now it's 7 p.m. after. Still, Macy's not doing good. There's craziness going on. That's when the doctors and, like, the nurses' shift ends. So this nurse we've been with all day is, like, got Macy wrapped up, but she's basically like, I'm out. Here's a new nurse. And I'm like, okay. So that's freaking me out. The OB's like, hey, she basically has to go help another baby. So she's like, just keep her warm, keep doing this. So now I got a new nurse, no OB, no original nurse. And I'm like, what is happening? And they eventually decided to do a blood transfusion. And I think that's really what changed things because they gave her some blood. And after that, she started slowly getting better and better and better. So where, after it was like, I don't know, probably around 8 o'clock. So, we're talking 3 hours after probably. She started feeling better. She started getting warm again. And she could actually talk. Because during this whole time, when she basically all she could do is say she was cold. She couldn't, like, really talk or make complete sentences or like articulate what she was feeling. Very scary. Through all this too, eventually I was like, hey, I just made a decision. I was like, give me a bottle, right? I don't want this baby not to be able to eat. So they gave me the baby the bottle, which he took great. But I also am like, I don't know how much to feed a newborn. I never had to do this before because Macy always fed the newborn. I gave bottles when they got older, right? And she pumped and stuff. So
you pretty much feed them until they finish it or until they're done.
So they gave me more than I needed, but basically once he was done, this is when I stopped. But I fed him. He did great with that. The baby's doing great through this whole time, by the way. He's doing really well. So then Macy finally starts feeling a little bit better, and then she starts holding the baby. She's still not feeling up to breastfeeding him yet, but then we got some food in her. I think I ordered food so that the food would be there. So she ate a little bit. That helped. And then, finally, as time went on, she was good and she could, breastfeed the baby and kind of get back to normal. But it was very scary for a while. They ended up keeping us in that room, Brandon, till like 1 a.m. just in case. So that was a little obnoxious. So the baby wasn't keeping us up, but we had people in and out, which was good to make sure Macy was okay. But very scary, very, traumatizing, I'm sure, for Macy and even for myself. I was like, what is happening? Because I was very concerned about my wife, and I'm trying to take care of my newborn son, and it was a lot.
When you and I kind of started talking about this, I didn't realize how serious it was, and Kelsey saw the picture of the baby, and she was like, I'm pretty sure they're giving Macy a blood transfusion. Something weird happened. It's like word for word she said, and you and I started talking a little bit about it, and you weren't one to really admit things like that, and I could tell you were feeling it a little bit in the moment, and that's what kind of got to me.
Yeah, it definitely it was scary. Now the good thing was that once Macy kind of bounced back, she was pretty good, and they said that she was she was good. The doctor said she was going to be fine as long as her temperature got up, which it got up, and all that kind of thing. So, we knew we were going to be okay at some point, but it was scary for a few hours for sure. But yeah, Brandon, after that, we were in the room, and then this is where it gets weird from like a hospital standpoint. They take you into the, I forget what do they call that? The recovery room, or basically the room where you are going to be at until you go
This
home.
is the actual nice room at the other hospital.
Correct. Which
like
what we're used to, you go to a nice room. And when the last time we had Avery, it was really nice. They gave us like the biggest one. It was great. It was huge. This room that they gave us was 1/4 the size of the other room, and that's probably being generous. It was tiny. It had room for like the hospital bed. It had the little chair that folds out to a bed. And then you could put like the cart, I'll call it, or the bassinet that the baby goes in, and you couldn't fit like anything else in that room. It was tiny. It was very strange. Like literally to open the door to go to the bathroom, you were hitting the hospital bed. Like it didn't even open all the way. It was very weird.
That's the exact opposite. I was used to having too much room.
So that was bizarre. And so that first night, the baby did pretty well, but we had people in and out of the room a lot, so that wasn't a great night. And then we had to stay in the hospital the whole next day. The nice part is, though, that we did get visitors. And so my mother-in-law came with the 2 girls. They were very excited. It was funny because Peyton was adamant during the whole pregnancy that it was going to be a girl and would cry if you told her it was going to be a boy. And when we FaceTimed them the night before to finally tell her, like, hey, you had a baby brother, she actually was super excited and was like, yay, I have a baby brother. Like, was like very happy about it. It was kind of shocked us. We thought she was going to be upset. So she was really geeked about it. And then the next day when she was going to meet him, man, Brandon, I'll tell you that girl still, this is 2 weeks. The baby's 2 weeks today, by the way. She thinks it's her kid. She loves him to death. She wants to hold him 24/7. She did right away. She's infatuated by him. Today she was screaming because I wanted to give her a bath, and she wouldn't take a bath unless the baby could be there too. Like, I mean, she just is all about the baby. Avery is hit and miss. She's mostly indifferent, but when she does care, she like is very sweet. She's not mean to the baby at all. She just, I think for her it's like, oh, that's cool, but I'm gonna go be Avery over here. So, but when they met him in the hospital, it was really cool. They both were engaged. They bought the baby gifts at the store. I think a stuffed duck and a stuffed pig, or a goose and a pig, or something like that. So they were really excited to give that to the baby. Very sweet, but it was tough because I got my mother-in-law, the 2 kids, and all of us in this tiny room. So that was a lot. But they did really good with the baby. Then my mom came later, and they got to see it. So we were there the whole day.
How's Macy feeling at this time?
She's doing pretty good. She's still a little, feeling it from the day before, and I think a little bit, I don't know if I say traumatized is the right word, but, like a little shocked and scared from everything that happened. But she's doing good. And the baby's doing good. He's sleeping a lot at this point in time. And then, that night was not the best night in the world of sleep. But the good thing, though, Brandon, is usually when you need to get discharged from a hospital, it takes forever, right? So the next morning, the doctor had to discharge Macy, and then the OB had to discharge the baby, right? Or vice versa. I might be saying that wrong. But you had to have 2 people. Like the pediatrician had to do the baby, and then the OB had to do Macy. They both came like before 9 a.m., and then we were out of there at like 10:30, which was great because I think at the old hospital, it was like 4 p.m. before they would get us out ever.
Yeah, they start teasing you that you'll be discharged
correct
soon at like 9 a.m. and it takes hours.
No, this was very efficient. And then we came home and had obviously the girls there at home, and they were just in heaven, especially Peyton. She wanted to hold the baby 24/7. And now we're 2 weeks later, she's still just as in love with him, and just thinks he's great. He's definitely so he's 2 weeks old. Well, I guess I'll go into his name. His name is Gerald Thomas. So my name is Gerald Stephen, and my dad's name is Gerald, and so is my grandpa's, and we all have different middle names. So he's not the 4th, but he is the 4th Gerald. But Gerald's after the 3 of us, and then Thomas is after his other grandpa. So he's named after both his grandpas. So Gerald Thomas, 9 pounds, 7 ounces. And so far, Brandon, he has been, and it's early, and knock on wood, but he's been very, very good during the day. Seems to be a very well-behaved baby, sleeps a lot, isn't overly fussy, just a good baby during the day. At night, very hit and miss, goes through some rough stretches, definitely likes to eat every 2.5 to 3 hours. Exactly, you can't go longer than that, and has trouble being set down at night and going back to sleep, which is weird because he doesn't during the day. Doesn't like baths. That will get him to scream. Not a big fan of baths. But so far, it's 2 weeks in. He's been a very good boy. Mom is definitely in love. He's going to be a mama's boy. There's no doubt. She definitely has that boy mom type thing going on. Or it's her first boy, and I think she's in love with him for sure. The girls are loving that he's a boy too, which is really cool. And it is cool, Brandon. It's different. Obviously having 2 girls going to a boy, it's been cool so far. It's been very good.
That's great. I'm actually jealous. Kelsey, I think they have a play date tomorrow at the library, so Kelsey gets to meet him for the first time. Was the name something you guys had from the very beginning, like
yes,
before Peyton?
Yep. So before Peyton, before anything, Gerald Thomas was always going to be the name. The girl name took us forever this time. We went back and forth like a million times. This is the longest and the hardest we fought over a girl name. So that was to the very end almost, but the boy name has been the same since, I think that we might even decided on that before we were married. It's been a long time. We knew that if we had a boy that was going to be.
I feel like we all kind of knew what the name was going to be. We didn't know in the middle name, but yeah. So you're Gerald, you go by Jerry. Your dad goes by Jerry. What are we calling Gerald Thomas?
So right now the winning name has mostly been LJ for like little Jerry. A lot of people have been calling him LJ. Baby J or little Jerry, Jer Bear has been called. I call him Boss a lot. I don't know why. I think Peyton called him Boss Baby one day, so I just started calling him Boss. But my brother-in-law calls me 3, so 4 has been thrown around too. But we'll see. I think you threw out Jet, which I don't know how that fits, but that name was thrown out. I like it too. I don't know how it fits, but it
doesn't
cool.
matter. So we were having a conversation with Bryce about LJ, and I told him that it stood for Little Jerry, and he couldn't comprehend like the Little Jerry without Uncle Jerry, and so he calls him Little Uncle Jerry, which is hilarious.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah,
No, he's been good. I apologize in advance because I think once Kelsey holds him, you might you might have that third baby conversation. I know you'll be prepared for it, but it might happen. Baby fever.
I mean, the minute you guys had him, that started. So that's but logistically, we got a lot going on right now.
Oh, so I know about it.
It's that's not happening anytime soon.
Yeah, the sleep thing is definitely real. I can hear him right now. I think he's screaming right now because it must be nighttime. But it's definitely, it's a lot. We've been blessed to have my mother-in-law down here, and my mom's been down here a little bit, so that's been helpful. But obviously, three kids is a lot, and then when you got a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old too, it can be a lot. But he's been good. It's fun to have now both, Brandon. You know, like I honestly thought it was gonna be a girl. And people, it's funny. Everyone always is like, "Oh, you must be so excited to have a boy," or you got your boy. And
all those boy clothes you kept finally paying off too.
Yep, and we honestly were going to be happy either way. And I think there's pros and cons, or things to be excited about, or things that make you sad. Like I got sad the other day. I saw a picture of Avery when she was really little, and I'm like, "Oh, we're never going to have another little girl." But at the same time, it's really exciting to kind of get to experience the boy stuff now. And Macy's, I think, really loving it. She's like, I can't wait for him to be in little polos. I'm like, okay. But, yeah, like little golf polos, she's like. But we're excited. It's been good. It feels like our family.
You can for sure have another little girl if you want to.
Nope. Our family's complete. We're excited about it. And the girls are excited. The family is doing good. We're tired, but we're doing good. And it's funny to think that we started this thing before we had any kids, and now we're a family of 5. So it's very, very
it's
exciting.
5 of them things.
Yeah, and Macy says it feels like our kids are multiplying. It feels like we got 12, not 3, but they definitely are all needy in their own way.
Is there anything about being a new dad that you forgot about at this stage so far?
Well, there's a few things. I mean, one, you never really are quite prepared for the nighttime stuff. You think you are, but like just that sleep deprivation hits. But I've never had to change boy diapers before, so that's new. That's a little bit different than changing a girl diaper. And even just little diapers in general, I don't like.
Do you think it's easier or harder?
Harder. Well,
really?
It's different. I'm used to girl diapers, so I think that's the part. But like, he has not done this to me, but Macy has me convinced that every time I change his diaper, he's going to like start peeing. And so I'm like trying to like place the diaper in case it happens. It has not happened yet to me.
So I've only been peed on twice. It was Bryce. KJ's never peed on me. But I saw something before Bryce was born that basically said put the wet wipe right above, like right before you open the diaper, and it kind of shocks them into getting out whatever they need. And I don't know if that's what's worked, but I have 2 boys. I've been peed on twice. It was with Bryce, and it's because I like left it open, and I was talking to somebody while I was changing the diaper like an idiot.
I've tried that move, so I think you're right. And but yeah, I mean, other than that, I think it always shocks you how little they are. But he's pretty good. Like, he does good on his tummy already. He can push himself up a little bit. His neck strength's already good. Like, he's a pretty sturdy boy, and so he does good from that front. It's just it's different every time you have a newborn. It just, I don't know, it makes you just appreciate kind of the whole journey, right? It's like, man, I remember when Peyton was that little. Now I got the third one that little, and it's just I'm trying to soak it in. Like, this one, I can definitely tell with Peyton, we didn't know what we were expecting, so it was like all hands on deck. And then with Avery, I think it caught us off guard, and I feel like early on especially, like, I didn't necessarily handle it the best as a dad because I don't think I anticipated what it was like to go back. And this time I'm just trying to enjoy it being the last one. Like, so I think I've been more, it's only been 2 weeks, but I've been more patient and more trying to just, enjoy the moments, even if it's tiring or frustrating, and just, soak it in, because it is pretty cool to just have them chill on your chest, and just like nuzzle into you, that feeling like a newborn's great, especially when your 2-year-old like is kicking and squirming and won't hug you because they're running around 24/7.
You about to make me be on the Kelsey page. That last little bit you said. Nah,
well, hold LJ and see what you think. He's pretty good at being held, so he's a pretty good snuggler. He likes to be held, and I don't know. He's a pretty good boy thus far, and obviously I'm biased, but he's a pretty cute kid too. So
can't beat it. Little Jet.
There you go. No,
you said Macy hates that, so we can't really make that stick.
She didn't hate Jet. No, she hates JT.
Oh,
that's what she don't like. She doesn't care about Jet. She loved that all day. Yeah, JT for some reason doesn't fly with her. I don't know if it's the boy band thing or what.
Okay, no JT.
No JT. But yeah, Brandon, that's kind of what's going on. One thing I will say, my piece of baby gear, I know we didn't do that, but my piece of baby gear, I've done this before on the podcast, but bringing it back because it's been clutch, is Herobility bottles are just amazing. So Macy has done more. He didn't latch super well, so nursing's been a struggle. So we've been doing more pumping and feeding with bottles than we did with the first two. And he took that bottle instantly, and those bottles have been money. No issues with them. They're easy to clean. You can put them in the dishwasher. Those bottles are the best, in my opinion, hands down. So Herobility, if you haven't looked them up, great. 10 out of 10.
I don't even know if I've ever heard of that bottle.
You have on the podcast.
I feel like I'm just out of the loop, out of the game.
He's pretty good at that, though, because we had to give him a different one the other day for some random reason. And he took it right away, too. And he took the one in the hospital. So he just might be good with bottles, but I like the Herobility ones because they're easy to clean. They're easy to open. They're not, like, fumbling with stuff. Just easy.
Yeah, I just looked it up. I've never seen this bottle in my entire life.
They're good.
No idea what this bottle was.
Well, if you guys have a kid,
good.
There you go.
Nah, yeah. We're Dr. Brown's family over here for multiple reasons.
Too many pieces. Nice.
Yeah. Well, since you did a piece of baby gear, I would say that the best gift Bryce has ever gotten, he's gotten at his last birthday, and it's a zero-turn lawnmower.
Oh my gosh, that thing's cool.
Realistic zero-turn. Have you seen him? Oh yeah, you did see him.
Yeah.
And this kid, cool. This kid is a professional at riding this.
He's so good.
I'm gonna get him to like make some money cutting people's lawns at the age of like 5, because he runs that like a professional. It's fun to watch.
It actually I was amazed by how good he was at doing that, because I'm like, I feel like
that was like 2 days in
as
too.
An adult doing that. Yeah. Like I would be like, wait, what way do I do it? And he was like killing it. And then Peyton got on it for like 0.1 seconds and was like, nope. So that is definitely a good gift. Macy wants me to buy LJ for Christmas a mini golf cart, and I'm like, the kid can't even sit up. Like, what are we doing? Come on.
Maybe a couple Christmases from now.
Exactly. Well, Brandon, let me hit you with the other dad joke really quick, because the first one I knew wasn't going to hit that well. But Brandon, this one's kind of topical for me and you.
Okay.
What kind of car does a Jedi drive?
What kind of car does a Jedi drive? I feel like if you give me like 5 minutes, I can figure this one out. But what is it?
A Toyota.
Toyota. We have a Toyota store for those. If you're ever in the market, send us a message. That's pretty good. I should have guessed that.
Yeah, that one I thought you might get. Get. But yeah, Brandon, I'm not going to lie, it's been good doing this. I've missed doing these podcasts. We actually were on a radio station today for an interview, and it had me kind of like missing this. So I'm glad we got to do this, because it is a little bit of therapy for us. We don't know what the future holds, just for all of our listeners, with everything we have going on. I'd like to tell you that we're going to continue to be able to do this from time to time. If we can, we definitely will. But it is.
And for any of our employees listening, if I hear about this or hear any jokes about these episodes, I'm coming for you.
That's right. We'll do a different podcast about those children. Those are different children. But no, it's this is great. We love doing this. If we can continue to do this, we definitely will. We still love hearing from each and every single one of you. I know we've gotten a decent amount of responses and people commenting on stuff even in the last few months while we haven't been recording. We still try to reach out to all of you guys, because that's what it's all about. New dads or 3-time dads, 4-time dads. Well, it doesn't matter if you're a dad out there or just want to be a dad one day. Hopefully you can get something out of this, because it's the best thing in the world. Being a dad's the best thing in the world. It was the best thing in the world the first time. It's the best thing in the world the third time, Brandon. And it's just, I can't wait to continue this ride. I mean, it's fun seeing Peyton almost at 4 and everything she's going through. It's fun to see Avery at that 2-year-old stage again, and it's fun to be back at the newborn stage. I got them all right now, and it's pretty great, and I'm pretty excited that they're at their ages they're at, because when they're teenagers, I'm pretty sure I'm going to cry. So, for multiple reasons.
Sounds like you have one right now, and I'm working on it.
Oh gosh, yeah, Peyton, she's a doozy. Just Kelsey probably got a little bit of it when she watched her. She's a handful, that girl.
Actually, I don't think Kelsey did. I think she was great.
That's good. At least she's behaving for others. But Brandon, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to say anything before we kind of sign out this time, because we don't exactly know our cadence going forward.
We don't know the cadence. This won't be the last time you hear from us. I think the updates may be a little bit more spread out than the cadence that you guys got used to. But we will definitely be updating you guys as our lives continue. We appreciate all the support over the years. It's maybe the next time you hear from us, I'll have an announcement. I'm joking. I'm joking.
There you
That's
go.
not gonna happen.
There you go. We like it. All right. Well, we appreciate all of you that have listened to us either from the beginning or just started to. We really do. We like hearing from all of you as well. So until next time, as always, I'm Jerry, joined here by Brandon, and you've been listening to Dad Jokes.